James, feeling like a visionary CEO, borrowed a huge sum. And as usual, he transferred the funds to John because there was no reason to worry. After 2 long weeks, his phone rang. It was an international number, plus 44. James nearly fainted with relief. Today's reflection is titled Letting Go Without Bitterness.
Sounds driving.
Hello and welcome to today's broadcast of Navigating the Key. My name is Kenneth Enelja Senime KEA Key, and I'm your host on this program. I want to welcome all our first time viewers today. Welcome. It's good to have you here. But today we have another interesting topic to discuss, and I am excited to bring it to you. Today's topic is titled Letting Go Without Bitterness. One time I heard a story about two university friends. So, for the purpose of this episode, because it's actually a real life story, I'm just going to change their names. I'm pretty sure when they hear it, they're going to know it's them anyway. But for the purpose of those who don't know the story, I'm going to change their name. Let's call them James and John, right? So, James and John are our people in this story. So, back in school, James and John were inseparable. Same room, same dreams, same when we blow, we'll remember this day speeches. Those kind of speeches we used to make back then. They had grand plans. Life after university was going to cooperate with their timetable. That's what they thought. But as we all know, life doesn't always attend our planning meetings. A few months after graduation, James landed a job. Nothing fancy, but steady, right? But John, let's just say his job search became a full-time job. Then one day, opportunity came knocking. They ran into an old friend whose father knew people in government. You know the type now, right? Soon enough, they were introduced to government supply contracts. Boy, that was good. Now, this was serious business. James had salary and access to bank loans. John had time and the energy to chase paperwork, and to negotiate with suppliers. James was the financier and John the operations guru. And for a while, it worked beautifully. Contracts delivered, payments made, confidence rising. Then came the biggest contract of their lives. Big funding was required. Big risk was involved. James, feeling like a visionary CEO, borrowed a huge sum. And as usual, he transferred the funds to John because there was no reason to worry. And John needed to travel to other states to finalize materials purchase and all that. And then, after he transferred the money, came silence. 1 day passed, 3 days passed, and then a week. James started panicking. Not even about the money at first, but about his friend. Was there an accident, he thought? Could he have been kidnapped? Or was it just network issues? He couldn't really wrap his head around what was going on. So he contacted John's family. They too hadn't heard from him. So they talked about maybe contacting the police. They said some prayers, hoping that he would get back to them safely. After 2 long weeks, his phone rang. It was an international number, plus 44. James nearly fainted with relief. John, where have you been? Everyone has been worried sick, he said. The voice on the other end was calm, maybe just too calm. And he said, I am sorry. I will pay you back your money. And that was it. There was no accident. There was no kidnapping. John had relocated with James' money. Wow. James felt disappointed. Long story short, the money never returned. But here's the deeper part. What destroyed James wasn't just the loss of the money. It was what came after. He stopped trusting people. He stopped taking risks. Every setback became, you see, this is why I don't trust anyone. You know, every opportunity was filtered through that one betrayal. He didn't just lose money that year, he carried the bitterness for years. And that single act became the explanation for every failure in his life. Today's reflection is titled Letting Go Without Bitterness. Because sometimes the biggest loss isn't what was taken from you, it's what you allow to stay inside of you. So if you're ready, let's review today's article. Letting go is hard. Letting go without bitterness is even harder. Bitterness often feels justified. It tells us our pain mattered, that what happened was unfair. But bitterness is heavy, and the longer we carry it, the more it shapes how we see everything else. Letting go without bitterness doesn't mean pretending nothing hurts. It means choosing not to let pain define your future. You can acknowledge what happened. Yes, you can. But you can do that without reliving it every day. You can accept that something didn't work without labeling yourself or others permanently by it. Bitterness ties you to the past. Release frees you for the future. The most powerful act of letting go is deciding that the story will not define who you are becoming. That is the beautiful part. That whatever it is that has happened will not determine who you are becoming, will not define who you are moving forward. You may not control how things ended, but you can control how you carry it. Forgiveness is not forgetting. You know how people will say, forgive and forget. No, not really. Forgiveness is not really forgetting, it is freedom. You don't let go because other person deserves it, right? You don't let go because the other person deserves it. You let go because you deserve peace. Release is an act of self-respect. I want you to take that. Release is an act of self-respect. That is our article today. Letting go without bitterness. That you've decided to forgive really doesn't mean you would forget, right? But what's most important is that you don't carry the bitterness of that situation into the next situation. You let go of the bitterness. Because when you do, you feel lighter. You can see clearer. You learn from the issues of the past experience, take what you can learn, and then move into the new experience. So, my friends, people all around the world, I want you to know today that when you forgive, let go of the bitterness, because bitterness can hold you stuck in the same position. It gives you a good reason not to move on. Some people will say, the only thing I have left is the sorrow from that situation. How can that be the only thing you have left? You go and move on to better things. The world is waiting for you to explore. The world is your canvas. Paint on it. That's our article for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. I love it myself because this issue of bitterness has really held a lot of people down. Now, there are several ways you can get help. If you feel very bitter about the situation and you can't let go of it, talk to someone about it. Talk to a professional about it and get help that you need. Don't carry bitterness around. It's too heavy to hold. Thank you so much for participating in today's article. Thank you for listening. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to bring it to you today. So for me, Kenneth Enelja Senime, I'm saying Have a lovely weekend and bye bye.